Hello, fourth graders. So today what we're going to be learning about is composite figures. And what we have here to begin with are two rectangles. And so what I'd like you to do on your notebook paper that you have in front of you is I would like you to draw a picture of this rectangle and this rectangle. And you're just going to draw a model of this, and I'm using these tile squares so you can kind of see that these rectangles are made up of squares. And if we were in class together, you would have these to work with as well. I wish you could have them right now. But instead, what you're going to do is you're going to draw a model that represents this rectangle and that represents this rectangle. We're thinking about perimeter, so you don't need to think about the squares right now. You just need to think about the dimensions. So what we're going to do is we're going to calculate the perimeter of this rectangle. And the way we do perimeter is we count up all four sides, right? So if this side is 1, 2, 3 inches, these are square tiles that are inches, and this is 5 going across, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We know that this will be 5 because the opposite sides are the same, right? And now what we can do to add up this perimeter is add up all the numbers. So 2 3s plus 2 5s gets us to 16 for the red, right? So that's 16. Now let's go ahead and calculate this rectangle. So we have 2 going over. I hope you can see this on the screen, a 2. So this is going to be a 2. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're going to count up 7 on this side, which means we're going to have 7 on this side. So what is the perimeter of this rectangle? So it's going to be 7 plus 7, or 7 plus 2 plus 7 plus 2. I'm going to go with 7 plus 7. That gets me 14, 16, and 18. Now, I'm going to make a note of that the perimeter over here is 18. And then what I'm going to do is I'm now going to turn this into a composite figure, and I'm going to show you how I do that. So what you're going to be doing in a minute is you're going to be drawing a new picture of a combination of these two things. So I have a handy tool here to help me move my rectangles. Look at that. I'm going to slide them there, and I think I'll slide these up. Not using the handy tool. Need to remember to always use it. Okay, so what I have here now is I have the same rectangles, right? They're the same. They haven't changed. There's this rectangle and this rectangle. But now what I want you to do is think about what is the perimeter going to be? What is it going to be? Without counting, what would your guess be? Would it be this perimeter plus this perimeter? What do you think? Well, there's only one way to find out. Let's go ahead and calculate it. So I'm going to start here at the bottom, and I'm going to write a 2 because this is 2 this way. And then this is, if I remember right, it's 7 going up, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this side is 7. Okay? This side is 2. Do you remember what this, actually, let's do this a little bit differently. The blue part is 2, right? And the red part is 5 from last time. But I think we should combine this because this is all one side. So what is 5 plus 2? It is 7. Okay? So now we have a couple more sides to go. So this side again is 3. This side is 5. And what is this side going to be? 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's go ahead and add up all the sides. You can go ahead and do that on your own. It's 7 plus 7 plus 2 plus 4 plus 5 plus 3. Then I will tell you what my answer is. I'll give you a little thinking time. Okay, so I'm going to add up 7 plus 7 is 14, plus 2 is 16, plus 4 is 20, and then 5 plus 3 is 8. 20 plus 8 is 28. So our perimeter equals 28. Is that the same as 16 plus 18 if we were just to add up the same perimeters? No, it's quite different, isn't it? So when they're separate, their perimeter is bigger in this instance, right? So what we're going to do next is we're going to take these two shapes again, and we're going to do something a little bit different with them, and we're going to count the perimeter again. So what we're going to do is I'm going to change the shape of this a little bit. And I'm going to actually move some of this over here. Okay, and now we have a new figure with new sides that needs to be calculated, don't we? Okay, so what I'd like you to do here, this might be really hard for you to actually draw, so how about you look at the picture and I'll write the dimensions down, and then we'll go ahead and add that up. So as I write the numbers down, you can start doing some calculating in your mind. Okay, so I'm going to start up here. This is 2 inches, right? And I know that the opposite side all the way down here is going to be 2. I know this side is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so it's 5. Now the tricky part about counting composites is you have to count every side that you see. And some sides I think are a little more obvious. Like this side from here to here is 1, 2, 3, right? So I'm going to write 3 there. This side is here is 2. Have I missed any sides in here? I ask, and you say, yes, Miss Leth, you missed this side. And I'm going to write 1 right there sideways so that I know that I'm representing this was 1 inch right there. So I can't forget about those little corners. Okay, this side is 2. This whole side is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to count that as 5. And then over here, the perimeter is also 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now what I'd like you to do is go ahead and see if you can calculate these all up together and tell me what the perimeter is out there in video land. So I'm going to give you a little more thinking time, and I'm going to give myself some thinking time because I have some counting up to do as well. Okay, do you have an answer? Okay, so I'm going to show you how I added this up. So I was seeing lots of 5s. So I'm going to circle my 5s and just get those kind of figured out. I'm also noticing that this is a 5, right? And then all of this is a 5. So this is making my life easier because I know how to count by 5s really well. So this is a 5 and that's a 5, right? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to count up all my 5s. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 26, 27. So my perimeter is 27 inches. Now, when would you need to know this information? Well, let's say you were trying to build a super cool dog pen for your dog, and you wanted lots of space for the dog pen and for your dog to run around, and you also wanted different parts of a dog pen. So you maybe wanted this part where they could run back and forth, and this part, and then maybe a little place to hang out by themselves in these parts. So if you were going to build a dog run or a dog pen, you would need to know the perimeter to know how much fencing you would need. And you would have to calculate really carefully so that you could build it. And before you built it, you would design it, right? You would sketch it out just like we've sketched it out. And instead of these being inches, these might be yards. Like if you have a huge backyard someday, you could make it a really big dog pen by making it 5 yards and then by 2 yards, etc. So this is what composite fractions look like. So what I'm going to ask you to do today during independent work for part of the time is I'm going to ask you to have this grid paper in front of you, and I will show you that in just a minute. And what I would like you to do with the grid paper is I would like you to make your own composite figures. I'm looking for a pen here. Okay, so what I mean by that is with your grid paper, I'd like you to draw 2 rectangles that are stuck together. Okay, so I'm going to just do one as an example. So let's say, I'm not even counting right now. Let's say I'm just making a rectangle that looks like this. Okay, and then let's see, what should I do to my rectangle next? I think I'm going to turn it into a T, a capital T. Okay, now once I've done this object, it's my job to count the perimeter. So what I would do is I would go ahead and do what I just did on the whiteboard, where I'd count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and count up the sides. This one's 3 and this one's 3, right? And then over here I can see that there's a 3 going here, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. So I made mine pretty symmetrical. And then I'm going to count the sides here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this side here is 2. And then my job would be, for my homework, is to go ahead and calculate all of this up and write P for perimeter equals, and then you're going to write your answer. Once you've done one, I want you to do another one. So this time you might do something that looks like this. And I'm going to kind of move over into here like this. Whoops. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and count my perimeter on each side and give the answer here. So I would like you to do at least 4 composite figures so that you can practice counting all the sides. There's also another homework assignment for you today as well that will kind of review what we've been doing. So good luck with this, and post it on Padlet when you're done.